This month on Roanoke County Today, we learn about new technologies at the county libraries. Plus, while we're there, we meet a new friend. This and more coming up.
Welcome back to the show. Joining us today is Chief Howard Hall, Police Chief for Roanoke County Police Department. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so we usually come and talk with you about various things going on here at the department, and today we get to talk about an exciting award received recently. But first, remind viewers a little bit about the Roanoke Valley Regional Drug Initiative.
So about 5 years ago, the law enforcement agencies in the Valley decided to combine our drug investigation resources into the Roanoke Valley Regional Drug Unit, which is housed here at the Public Safety Center. So there's representatives of our department, the City Police Department, Salem Police, Benton Police, State Police, our federal partners, DEA, Homeland Security, ATF also participate as need be. And the purpose is to try to combine those resources to target the traffickers that are bringing quantities of illegal drugs into the Valley and try to dismantle those organizations.
Okay, and recently this unit received an award or an honor from the Washington-Baltimore HIDTA initiative. So first, tell people what HIDTA means.
Well, HIDTA is the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Areas Program that is a part of the Office of National Drug Control Policy that actually sits in the Executive Office of the President. We are part of the Washington-Baltimore HIDTA that we're the furthest south that they cover, but there are several other areas in Virginia, DC, and Maryland that participate. That provides us with some additional funding to support drug investigations. It also provides us the ability to coordinate and share information with other agencies around the area and around the country as we investigate drug trafficking organizations. That they do tend to spread out, and that additional coordination and cooperation enhances the investigations for everybody.
And tell us about the award that was received.
Well, every year, Washington-Baltimore HIDTA recognizes initiatives that have done exceptional work. Because of a large case that we handled last year, our unit received an award for outstanding investigative effort. There was a significant, rather large drug trafficking organization that was operating in the Roanoke Valley that was bringing large quantities of opiates into the area. This investigation actually included the largest seizure of pure fentanyl to date in Virginia.
Wow.
It was somewhere around 5 pounds of fentanyl, which is literally hundreds of thousands of doses. I mean, really the potential impact for overdose on that was huge just in that seizure. So quite a number of people now are facing federal charges for their activities in that. Trials for those are pending, but that was a very significant case in the Roanoke Valley, and a lot of work from the group here. That investigation extended north into Baltimore, New Jersey, New York, west as far as Arizona, and even into the Dominican Republic and Mexico.
Wow.
Which highlights the use of HIDTA. While our detectives did travel to some of those places during the investigation, the HIDTA program allows us to coordinate with other HIDTA groups that are working in those areas to assist us in what we're doing, or even take over parts of an investigation of things that might be occurring in their areas.
So this is very successful.
Yes.
Very successful. That's great. A lot of behind the scenes work that the public don't see.
Right, it's an incredible amount of work,
Right.
and it takes a very long time to investigate larger organizations and then try to trace back where the drugs are coming from and who else is involved.
And does the unit work on just one case at a time?
No, now there are times during a big case when practically everybody is engaged in one aspect of it, but we're constantly receiving information and intelligence about drug activity around the Valley and providing the follow-up to that, which sometimes doesn't turn out to be, anything that, that's going wrong and not really drug activity. people see suspicious activity that sometimes indicates drugs, and it's not really. Other times, that kind of information turns into, these larger scale cases that help us to try to interdict the larger quantities of drugs that are coming in the valley.
Right. And how are officers selected to be part of this drug initiative?
Well, each agency selects their own representatives. So, in our case, we pull from the officers that we have working in the county that have an interest in narcotics investigations. There's a selection process for that, and those that do well in that ultimately have an opportunity to work in unit.
And that's the same for every other agency too.
Probably, I don't know the exact procedures in the other agencies, but most agencies do something similar.
So you can all join efforts.
Right.
And this is a regional effort. There's also a DUI task force, or SOAR, Sober on All Roads. There are lots of acronyms, but it's another regional effort. How important are those regional relationships?
I think we get incredible value in the regional efforts that we have in place. Certainly the regional drug unit has expanded our capability to interdict these larger organizations that really can create a lot of havoc based on the quantity of drugs that are coming in and all sort of the ancillary things that flow from that. You mentioned the DUI task force. We're able to put resources any place in the valley where we're having potential DUI problems. Of course, our training academy is a joint effort between us and Roanoke City, provides efficiencies in terms of training particularly our new officers coming through the academy, and I think probably provides a lot of long-term benefits by building relationships among our officers as they begin their careers together. So the regional collaboration that we have on this and other issues, I think really pays off very, very well.
Sure. Great. Well, good collaborative efforts, and congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
Well deserved, and we look forward to getting updates from you in the future.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Okay. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Roanoke County Today. My name is Brian Klingenpeel, and I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator for Roanoke County Fire and Rescue. Today, I'm joined by Captain Charlie Rucker. Captain Rucker is a captain at our #1 fire station here in Roanoke County, but he is also a member of our wildland team, which means that recently you went to California to help with some of the historic wildfires that they've been having there. Can you tell us a little bit about the agreement that allows us to send firefighters out west?
Sure. We have an agreement with or cooperative agreement with the U.S. Forest Service that allows us the opportunity to get out on some fire, maybe out of the state. We also take care of fuels mitigation and prescribed fire here on the forest in Virginia.
And so there were 3 firefighters from Roanoke County that went this time.
We had 3 firemen. We went out on an interagency hand crew that came out of all of them came from Virginia. We met up in Knoxville, Tennessee. We met up with several other crews from Kentucky, Tennessee, and North Carolina, and we all flew out to the original assignment was Oregon, but as soon as we got in the air, they said, now you're going to California. So we went to California.
Okay. And so tell me, I know we've probably all heard on the news some of the names of some of the fires, and there were several large ones that I assume maybe are even still burning. Tell us about the fire you were on and a little bit about what that was like.
We were on the Ferguson Fire. When we got there, we were right around 31,000 acres. We spent 14 days on the fire. We did a lot of burning. We did a lot of mop up. We did a lot of, we stayed fairly busy. A lot of times when you go out there, there's some assignments that you get that you never see the fire at all because you're just doing a lot of prep work away from it. And it's all important stuff. It's just, sometimes you're like, well, are we even close to it? Well, yeah, we are. This time we put a lot of fire on the ground. We did a lot of burning operations. So we kept everyone fairly busy.
So you talk a little bit about burning. So just so folks understand, because I know I get these questions when I'm out in the community a lot too, about back burning. Explain that process a little bit to us and what you're doing when you do that.
So when we talk about like burning out or back burning, we're talking about essentially eliminating the fuel for the fire to burn. So in layman's terms, you're going to put in a containment line, and then you're going to burn off that line with the premise that the fuel that the main fire has will go away and the fire goes out.
Everybody was safe. Y'all did what you had to do, and I know we were concerned about you while you were gone, but everybody stayed safe and everything went pretty well.
Everybody from Virginia came back safe and sound. There were a couple of fatalities on the fire that we were working on. It is part of the job, but there's always an inherent risk on everything. So, but it's they have a lot of, I guess, trees and things like that have seen a lot of fire before. And one of the hazards that you run into is with snags, and what that is that the tree may either fall over or the top may come out of the tree, and you don't know that's going to happen. So you kind of just have to have your head on a swivel and make sure that you look up, look down, all around all the time, just to make sure you're not in a bad spot. So. Right.
Good. Well, we're glad you're back safe. I think so. I know a term I hear a lot is wildland-urban interface, and that's where subdivisions, other development butts right up against wildland areas where there could be fire. I say butts up against, could even be intertwined within some of that area. Do we have some of those similar kind of areas here, especially in Roanoke County?
So our heavy fire danger months are in the spring and the fall, as the leaf litter on the ground primarily drives a lot of our fires. We tend to, here in Roanoke, are very fortunate that you can live in the country and live in the city, and you can do a little bit of both, and that's where we get in the term of urban interface. And basically all that is we've built a house in the middle of I guess a forest or a subdivision that's back away from everything. That's where your concern is more of a, hey, I've got a home, it's in the woods, what do I do to protect it in case of fire?
Right.
So, and a couple of things that we've talked about before is a defendable space around your house. Usually around here you're safe with between 30 and 50 foot. So keeping your gutters clean, keeping your grass mowed, things like that.
And so when you say defendable space, that's just like some green area that's around your house that's kept under control. You don't want overhanging limbs over a roof, or like you said, a lot of leaves in the gutter. Is that the kind of thing we're talking about?
Keep your plants. You want to stay away from really oily plants like rhododendrons and things like that around your house. Everybody loves to put mulch around their house. It's not the best, but we get it.
Right.
Obviously, in a perfect world, landscape gravel is the way to go, but not everybody's going to want to do that.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So, but we do have those areas. I mean, do we have a concern? What's the danger level here in Roanoke? Is it similar to that's in California, or?
Fortunately for us, we have seasons here.
Yes.
We get a lot of rain. I think in California they tend to get maybe a couple months of rain, and then 8 months is dry.
Right.
So with their terrain and their weather pattern and the amount of heat that they get out there, it is very conducive to pushing a lot of fire through the state. And we tend to be fairly green most of the year, with their problems being in spring and fall. And that's not to say you don't get burned other times, but primarily spring and fall are a big deal here, and we get right much more rain than they do.
Right, and we certainly have lots of areas where people have, we have a lot of natural beauty here, the mountains, and people want to live in that, and so we do have those folks who have their homes in those kinds of areas. Right. It has to do with access, on being able to get fire trucks and things in there.
Trimming up your overhanging limbs on your driveways and things like that. I mean, most of the apparatus we have is huge.
Right.
And the more room we have to get in there in position, it's obviously going to be a whole lot quicker for us to be able to get in and out if we can, versus having to make ourselves be able to get in and out. And a lot of that, all those contributing factors, deal with how much work we can do in a given amount of time if you've got fire danger.
Right. Well, Captain Rucker, we certainly appreciate you and your team going to California, but we also appreciate what you do back here as part of the wildland team here in Virginia, in Roanoke County, to help keep us safe. And so we really appreciate that.
Well, thanks.
If you'd like more information on these topics or any others, you can contact me directly at 777-8718, or you can find us on the web at roanokecountyva.gov/fire rescue. Roanoke County Today. We'll be right back.
Our four-legged friends make us smile all year long. Isn't it time we return the favor? The Regional Center for Animal Care and Protection needs your help to help keep these pets happy and healthy. Our goal is to keep pets in loving homes and out of shelters. You can make this happen by donating to the RCACP Food Pantry any time of the year. The following donations are needed: canned cat and dog food, dry cat and dog food, cat litter, and toys. Residents who need to pick up food can do so at 1510 Baldwin Avenue Northeast.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me today is Nancy Hans with the Roanoke County Prevention Council and Tom Bowers with the Salem Commonwealth's Attorney Office. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so we are really excited to talk about an award. But first, Tom, I'm going to ask you, there is a task force, the Opioid Heroin Task Force. So tell us a little bit about the history of that organization.
This task force started 5 or 6 years ago, and it really started when we had a problem with bath salts. But it was regional law enforcement coming together. It started with Roanoke City, Roanoke County, and Salem, and then we started adding sheriffs and probation officers, and then treatment professionals. And what that enabled us to do was to plan more effectively on how we're fighting not just this problem, but other problems that deal with law enforcement in our community. So we have a very strong, we call it the Law Enforcement Summit. We meet once a month, and I think it provides us a centralized meeting to get a centralized voice on dealing with many problems, and that's been the crux of how we started this problem and this task force.
Okay, it's certainly a big issue that's
Sure.
a hot topic across the country now, and certainly we're experiencing that here. And so the award that we've mentioned comes from HIDTA. Now explain to people what HIDTA is.
HIDTA is a federal term for high intensity drug trafficking. And so what you're doing is, based on some federal funding and some federal organization, you're going after the higher level drug dealers. And drug business and drug dealing is a business like anything else, and it has different levels. It has distribution, it has logistics, and so you have to go at all different levels. You have to go at the street level, you have to go at the mid-level dealers, and you have to go with the suppliers. And so the HIDTA, that's the term for it, it really goes after some of the higher level suppliers to drugs, not just heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, and marijuana.
And so we did talk to Chief Hall about this as well, about the HIDTA program, and we know that this area is part of the Washington-Baltimore HIDTA program, and then this award that you all have received comes from that. So tell us a little bit about that award.
Well, the award, and this valley received two parts of the award, and Chief Hall talks kind of that the team did in one of the drug dealers that they were able to take down. And then the part of the award was the community service piece, which we were able to, mainly working with the Prevention Council, go through all the schools in Roanoke County, Roanoke City, and the city of Salem 2 years running, and talking to them about the dangers, really started of opioids and heroin. And then this year we're gearing up again, and we're coming back at some things that Nancy likes to always talk about, at-risk behaviors, and we're kind of expanding this because the drug problem isn't going away. I'd say it's probably getting worse, and it's going to get worse because it's a culture. And so we've got to change the way that people, that kids, that parents, that families, that a neighborhood, and that a society look at drugs and at at-risk behaviors. And so that's kind of what our next level of targeting is.
And how does your office work in all of this?
Well, I was picked to be the chairman 5 or 6 years ago, and I can't seem to get out of the job. But the Commonwealth attorneys are an integral part of this. We have to work with the chiefs and with HIDTA and with the local drug treatment professionals. This is not one single piece or one facet of this can handle all this. This is a multifaceted problem that we've got to work together, and that's where to me, the law enforcement bringing in the treatment professionals has created things like the HOPE Initiative. And other programs where we have to give people for opportunities. The drug problem is more vast than the treatment that we can provide. So we've got to increase the amount of treatment and the amount of opportunities, the amount of education, and that's where law enforcement, again, people say it all the time, but we can't just arrest our way out of this problem. We've got to change the culture, change society, change the stigma of drugs, and change our medical practices. And so it's an all-encompassing. It's going to take much more than a neighborhood. It's going to take a society and a region to handle this problem.
Sure. And Nancy, talk about all the organizations that come together to work on this task force.
Right, so we have lots of partners, and through knowing that the HOPE Initiative was just raised up 2 years ago, we've been able to bring in the medical community. We have now we have young people in recovery, and I think we have to remember that this is intensely local epidemic of addiction. So what the council, and we've been around for 17 years now, and of course it's all that prevention piece, but it's also, as Tom said, we need to provide these opportunities of people to be able to come and get resources. And that is why we're building Urgent Love. It's a website that will be very local and specific, and we're really trying to ask families, and we need to I think, come from this from a place of love and be able to lift that veil of stigma and shame and talk about this. And you can talk about it at your dinner table. You can talk about it, at your place of worship. I mean, we really need to know that the more we can talk about it, the more that we know about it and are educated, then we can start to really turn the corner on this.
So it's a constant fight.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And what are some of the other things? You mentioned a couple of initiatives. What are some of the other things that your organization is doing or this task force is doing?
So the task force, we always have the resources there. HOPE Initiative, we've now seen almost 200 people to help them to get to resources. Urgent Love, we should be up and running within a month. You can go to urgentlove.org and start to see, and we will have local faces and videos on there. The other piece is that we have our collaborative partners through Carillion, through Lewis Gale, through Blue Ridge, through RACEAC, and when we come together, we do that as a community and then really start to look at these are the resources and how we can put that out, and people can come and talk about this in a safe place. And we would love for people to get involved. We need volunteers. We did also just receive, the council did a 3-year grant that will help us with providing support to the prevention clubs in the middle and high school. And then that's where the prevention starts. And we ask parents, the very first time you feel a red flag, act on your red flag.
And so how can citizens become involved?
They can contact us. They can, we need lots of resources. They can join the council. We have lots of opportunities for people to come to us, and we've got plenty of work to do.
Great. And how can people get in touch with you if they're interested in helping?
So you can either go to urgentlove.org and email us, or you can go to roanokeprevention.org, and that's our website.
Okay, very good. Well, congratulations on this award. I know there was a lot of work involved, and you all are being recognized for all those hard efforts. So congratulations to you.
Thank you so
very
much.
And thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. We're here today at Roanoke County Public Library talking with Sherry Henry and Mike Hibben. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
There's always some exciting things going on in the library, so we're excited to talk with you all today. Sherry, first tell us what's behind the library's desire to increase technology programming.
Sure. The latest Pew study on libraries, 2016, showed that 80% of the people, the respondents, said that they now expect the library and need the library to play a role in technology. That just like for years it was print materials, and then we went to providing computer access, Wi-Fi, online materials. Now people are really looking to us to, as the entity in America that provides free and open access to information, to start filling that gap when people need to learn technological tools.
Right. And who are the programs really geared for?
The programs, a lot of them are geared toward children and teens because we have so many in the library and they're so excited, and technology, as we all know, is just second nature to them. However, we are planning programming from, I like to say, cradle to grave, all ages, to help people re-enter the job market if they need to stay on top of their skills, to be able to send pictures to their grandchildren, whatever it is people are looking for, we want to help them fill that.
And Mike, tell us, how will learning these technologies benefit the people who attend the classes?
Well, we're really talking about the job skills of the future and the technology of the future. It's really not even the future. I mean, if you have a smartphone, you've probably spoken with Siri or Cortana, and you may have a little speaker at home where you speak to Alexa every day. So artificial intelligence is already becoming a part of our everyday lives. And we want to kind of push the needle here for Roanoke County to drive the conversation about AI and help us develop it in a way that benefits Roanoke County. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about the different types of technology that will be available.
We have all kinds of exciting things that we're premiering this fall. Among the technologies we have, we recently acquired through one of our community partners a grant for 10 microbits, and these are very much like the little Raspberry Pi microprocessors. They're put out by the BBC in the UK, and we're one of the first libraries that we are aware of in the country to offer these, and we'll be allowing people to check them out. And you can do coding and upload your coding into the little processor and play cool games. It's a really, really fun way of learning coding. In addition to that, we've recently purchased these little robots called Ozobots, and it teaches kids and adults coding concepts through drawing. You can draw with a marker, and through different patterns of colors, you can tell the little Ozobot robot what to do, to give it commands, just like coding, but in a visual way. We also have Cosmos, this cute little AI robot that you can learn to code with and play games with, and it'll interact with you. It's so much fun. And then, of course, the big thing that we're so excited about, the first public library in the United States to own. We are the first public library in the United States to own Pepper, the humanoid robot. And Pepper is the most advanced form of artificial intelligence that we are aware of available for consumers today. And we're going to be using Pepper for coding and all kinds of programming for the community. And we're really just looking at Pepper to bring the community together to create new apps and software to benefit the community.
Who is your favorite human?
My official answer is Tom Gates, Roanoke County Administrator. However, my best friend is Shari Henry, Director of the Roanoke County Public Library. She's smart and super fun.
Wow, there are a lot of things going on. That's really exciting because technology has certainly advanced over the years. And you talked about coding. Explain a little bit, what is coding? Not everybody may understand what that means and how to do it.
Sure. Well, coding is just the language that you program into a computer to tell it to do things. All of our computers have coding built into their operating systems, and usually experts behind the scenes do that, but really most anybody can learn coding. There's different kinds of coding, but it's not that difficult to learn, and we're really going to be focusing on that going forward so people in the community can learn about that, learn how to do it, and learn how to harness it to create really cool new apps and software.
And will these be classes that people can sign up for?
They will. We're going to have workshops. We've partnered with some local robotics and coding groups, and they're going to be here at the library regularly starting in the fall to teach coding and different kinds of classes on high tech. And there is a registration process involved with some of the programs, and you can simply call the library and we can get you registered for any of our programs.
Okay, and online, where can people find you?
They can go to our website at yourlibrary.us.
Okay, I know there's going to be a lot more talk about Pepper because that's certainly a very exciting thing for this library and the first humanoid robot in the United States. So that's very exciting. I'm sure a lot of people are going to come in and visit, and we'll certainly sit down with you all and hear more about it. So thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for coming by.
Okay, we'll be right back.